Alright, so 2023 was dubbed by a large portion of the community, including myself, the worst year for a gacha game ever. Greg Cross was in dire need for any and everything that would be hyped the whole year, it felt. And I just want to compare so far how 2024 is doing compared to 2023, because it really was bad. Last year was sad, and you can ask pretty much anyone that was invested into the game how very dead the whole year was. But I think so far 2024 has been a little bit better. I just want to start from the beginning. Was 2023 as bad as people make it out to be, or are people over exaggerating on that? So the first banner of 2022, I'm going by timeline and compare what we already have in 2024 as well, which is actually not that much. It's not going to take forever. But 2023 started with, I would say, the worst character possible. It's laughable. A blue version of the Iron Blood mono. Catastrophes are the bottom of the barrel of hype, and this character was okay. It was kind of fun. She could full wipe sometimes, but again, bottom of the barrel for hype is just terrible. Now 2024 started with a green version of Full Winged King, which was actually way more hype. Not even comparable. It's not even comparable, but not the craziest thing ever. I actually don't even have him on his New Year's outfit. It wasn't like crazy, right? It was a New Year's banner, but it was like a regular banner, not anything crazy, but it was a character from the series, and it is almost incomparable how much more hype characters from the series are than original characters. So having a normal character instead of a shitty OC is already big thumbs up for 2024. After that, we got Freya in 2023, and it is another original character, but I will admit it was cool and hype when she came out, because it's Freya, and there are many reasons as to why people were very excited to summon for her, and that is pretty much it. Like, she came out and she was hyped for like a week, and then people just kind of didn't care that much anymore to use her because she was okay. Like, she wasn't the greatest thing ever. But then she got the Holy Relic, which I think kind of ruined the character personally. I think it would have been much better if they actually gave her a PvP Holy Relic, instead of committing her to becoming now a character for the snake, and then making her passive worthless on the one activity she's meant for. But relics aside, I mean, we got relics. What was it? Was it the next patch? No, okay, at the time we actually did get Snake at the same time as Freya, and we got these 3 top Holy Relics, which weren't that hype at the time, as I remember, but Melascula's Holy Relic and Zeldris' Holy Relic have lived through, you know, the test of time, and they're pretty good. Fraudrin, not so much. Now in 2024 we got Shin, but the thing is that we got him as a 242 banner. It's not like 100% one for one, but if you told me you forgot that this Shin came out just, you know, 2.5 months ago, I wouldn't blame you. It is extremely forgettable. So I'm gonna have to mention that right after Shin, because this was kind of it was like a pre-banner to a collab, we got the, where is it? Let me go for collabs here. We got the Tower of God collab, which was probably the deadest collab ever. It is mainly because Tower of God isn't a super hype IP. It was kind of hype when the anime was coming out, but then they kind of ruined it. And it's not that popular. It's a manhwa, it's not really like an anime at the moment, right? So it was alright. The characters were Zahard. But the other 2 were pretty good. It was a very controversial collab, so I would say it's a pretty negative. I'm not gonna lie. After that, in 2023, we got the Valentine's King, which was kind of dead. I mean, it is a character from the series, which is better than getting like a stinky OC, but people didn't really care too much about him, and he just wasn't very fun to use. Now, I mean, there's like, you know, people that still cope very hard for him, but I remember at the time he was like, oh, Valentine's King. It was a fairy thing, you know, it wasn't like a Sins thing. He wanted to be run with fairies, which didn't really help, but it was better than an OC, that's for sure. In the same time slot in 2024, we got the End, which I would say is like similar in like hype. You know, they're both just like, they're not the most hype of sins, right? But they are sins, so it's a little more, you know, interesting. But she's very, very good. Like comparatively as a unit, she's much better than King ever was. So I think that's points for 2024. By the way, we also had Glocks. I skipped him over. We had LR Glocks before. I didn't want to count LRs, but I guess I'll mention it. We did, because we did get LRs last year. It wasn't this year. Glocks was dead. It was a dead drop. No one cared. And I mean, now he's usable on the new Demonic Beast, but like, he was pretty dead at launch. Next for 2023, we have Mael, which I'm not gonna lie, for me, this was super hype. Personally, I was waiting for Mael to drop for so long, and we finally got him. And unfortunately, that's mainly my opinion. Like, looking at the amount of money the game made, mostly, like, that's, I think, the biggest indicator. Mael was not the biggest drop. Like, comparatively to 2024's festival, Mael made considerably less money, meaning less people summoned for him, right? And just from being there at the time, way less people cared about Mael than most festivals, which is crazy for me, but it's just how it was. I genuinely don't understand this one, because I think Mael's really cool, but Mael was kind of a dead festival drop. I don't know, like, someone explain that to me, because I don't get it. But yeah, Mael was, as much as I hate to say it, was very unhype. But okay, the game didn't help him, because he dropped into a dead team. Goddesses were a dead team. And like, no new characters for ages. Like, stinky Light Liz, stinky Margaret, like, just terrible. And then after that, he got nothing for a little while, but I guess that also didn't help him. Now, compared to Chaos Arthur was way more hype. Not even in comparison. In terms of, for me personally, people wanting to see more of him, which is, I think, a big factor. And the amount of money the game made. They made way more money with Chaos Arthur, and it was more hype. It is what it is. I think they're both just as hype personally for me, but Chaos Arthur in the eyes of the community was way more hype, which I see. I mean, it is also another long time coming type of festival. Honestly, I think they should have even left him for Anniversary. I don't know what they're going to do for Anniversary this year, but Chaos Arthur was big. I think he was... I actually need to see the numbers again, but in terms of like festivals, probably the biggest festival, like excluding super celebration ones, like anniversaries and end of year festivals, like removing November, December, and, you know, anniversary. I think he must have been the hypest festival we've ever had, but I need to take a look again. In any case, cool and a good release. I mean, he has his limitations, and he got kind of, you know, screwed after his release, but in terms of that moment, that release was pretty big. Yeah, 2023 really falls off hard as well. Ludociel was the banner after Mael, which didn't really help Ludociel. Oh, sorry, it didn't really help Mael. This character was miserable and just sad. It was meta. Like, people probably don't remember as much because it was a very short time, but he was meta when he came out. It was boring, and if you already had Margaret, why you couldn't run them both together? Terrible release, super unhyped, no one cared about. Silly me, I forgot that in 2023 when Mael came out, we also got a relic for Mono, which no one cared about and barely helped the character at all. It was kind of stinky, but also we got the relic for Freya, which was very polarizing at the time. People did not like that she got this relic, including me. I felt like, you know, it defeated the purpose of even the character, because where the character is now good in, which is the snake, the passive does nothing. It was just terrible design choice. Making also like the materials for the relic were from the snake, and the relic was made for the snake, so it was like you had to beat the snake to get the snake relic. It was just terrible choice. People were not very happy about this back then. And it kind of ruined the character, because then we got a new version of Freya, the green one, which has a really good passive for PvP till this day, actually. But it got, you know, like a relic that does nothing, because the passive is for PvP only, and the relic is for snake. Like, terrible choices. And when Chaos Arthur came out, we actually got the relic for Zaneri, which was pretty decent. It is a okay relic. It gives you a little more HP for the humans. It's okay. I mean, it's nothing insane, but it is actually something that people can use. So, and it's bird material, so it's better than the mono relic, that's for sure. Alright, so after Chaos Arthur, we got Gelda in 2024. That was the same time slot as Ludocio. I kind of derailed with the Holy Relics because I had forgotten, but yeah, we got Gelda, and she was hype because she's super, super strong. Like, listen, Ludocio was unhyped because he was weak. As a character, people like Ludocio as an actual character, because you gotta think, there is the hype that comes with the character and the hype that comes with the unit. For Gelda, there's not that much hype about the character. There's hyping that she's finally in the game, so there's that. But not that many people care about Gelda, like, let's be real. But the unit is so OP that people actually cared. So, you know, if the unit, this is what I'm thinking, like, if the character isn't gonna bring the hype, the unit has to. But when the character brings some hype, like Ludocio, they can't just make the unit trash. You know what I mean? So, Gelda was a good release in that regard. It is a, I think, awfully timed release because it was right after a festival. People felt a little, and it wasn't made for the festival or anything, like to complement Chaos Arthur. It was in direct contrast, like against Chaos Arthur, so that also doesn't help. And then we got Megalda in 2023, which was such an odd release. And this Megalda release just defines 2023 so much. It is just such a weird release because the unit itself was pretty decent, and she was meant to be just like a overall really good unit for demonic beasts. But, you know, her relic doesn't work where she's meant to work, or her relic doesn't work at all because it's meant for the other Megalda. Relics need to be adjusted. They need to make it so, okay, this relic does this for X character and this for this other X character, because it's just so bad the way it is right now. In any case, like, Megalda was decent. Like, it was actually a pretty decent unit, but she was clearly meant for Snake, right? Sure. But she doesn't work with the best Snake unit, which was Freya. So what is going on here? Like, why? And this is what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, the unit is decent. Like, Megalda is decent. It's an OC, so it wasn't very hype in that metric, right? But the unit itself was pretty... I lost her. The unit itself is pretty decent. It's just... why did they release it like this? Why did they make it so, okay, we release the relic for Freya, which is good for Snake, and then we release a character that's for Snake. Like, come on. You're not gonna tell me she's for dogs. Like, the Snake was the boss at the time, right? But she doesn't work with the character we just gave the relic to. It's just, why? What's the thought here? You know? Like, oh, if you didn't make the relic for Freya, then you can use Megalda. Okay, I see that, right? I can see that point, but then, like, why make Freya so restrictive then? It's just odd times. People were also not, you know, understanding why the decisions were meant to be this way. It was such an odd time. Now, in the same time slot as Megalda, we got Festival Galfer, which is, you might have noticed, Megalda, does she look like a seasonal unit to you? Where I lost her again. I mean, if you give her a seasonal title just because, I guess, but to me she's just a random Ragnarok unit. But they forced down our throats this festival seasonal Galfer, and now in 2024, as they've said in dev notes, unless they just worded in a really strange way and doesn't mean it like this, seasonal characters will now be festivals. So this Galfer was meant to be like a regular seasonal unit, and it shows because this character does not feel like a festival at all, other than the fact that he costs more to summon, to upgrade, and to anything. He is just a random unit that was given festival title, and I don't like it, and pretty much no one does. I feel like I should give 2023 the win in this like time slot, but like, can I? Megalda was such a terrible release in terms of anything encompassing her. Like, she was an OC, first of all, yikes, but scratch that, like, never mind she's an OC. She doesn't work with the best unit for the team she's meant to be run on. It's like, or for the activity she's meant to be run on. It's like, I'm just conflicted. These are both terrible. I guess Miguelda gets it, because Festival got her, like, yikes. Oh, almost forgot when Gelda came out, we got LR Zeldris. Man, I'm forgetting about these LRs, because I'm really thinking about the banners. I mean, there's nothing to compare again on 2023, because LRs weren't a thing yet. But, yeah, LR Zeldris, I mean, I think it's a good choice. I think they made a good choice for this. It's definitely more hyped than Glocks. And I see where he's good for. He's really good for PvE activities and stuff since day one. And he's pretty good in PvP as well, so I think it's a W. Like, the Gelda plus Zeldris patch, compare that to the Green Ludociel patch, it's like 2024, so much better. It's like not even comparison. Then we got in 2023 Roxy, which is another OC, back-to-back OCs. And, I mean, she was cool. I am #1 OC hater. You can call me if you have an OC hating need, but she was fun. So it's what I'm saying, right? Like, the character is not hype, but the unit I like. So if you're not gonna make a hype character, Mono, Valenti, Roxy, name another OC. At least make them cool and fun, because then I actually want to use them. You know what I mean? So I think it's a point. Not yet, because I have to say 2024. But this was cool. And with her, I'm not forgetting this time, we got the holy relics for Assault Meliodas. Dude, this was big. Like, yeah, Roxy came out, whatever, no one cared about. Everyone cared about holy relic for Assault Meliodas. This guy was in dire need of anything because he was bad on launch, and only now, so long after he got his time, and then after, you know, now in 2024 when Gelda came out, he also got brought back. But, you know, at the time when this relic came out, the relic was really good. So this was a pretty nice patch, because even though Roxy, you know, it's an OC, people don't really care about OCs that much. We got the relic for Melly, and then we also got the relic for Nebula Zeldris, which personally I don't like. He was somewhat recent still for the time, and I see why they gave him the relic in retrospect, because then, you know, a little bit after, maybe not a little bit, a couple of months after, we got Demon King Zeldris, so, you know, gave him a relic before he became irrelevant, pretty much, right? So I see that, but I feel like they could have made him, like, okay, come back later. In any case, the relic was decent, so can't complain about that. It was a good batch. Like, Roxy plus Assault Melee relic, and then this Zeldris was a good batch. Compare that to 2024, we got a brand new beast. So with the brand new beast, after, it wasn't here, but it wasn't at this moment, this time slot, but eventually, now we are synced in timelines here. We now got Valenti, and I mean, it is a beast unit. It's not the hypest thing ever, and it's odd to me, because so far, all of the beast units were Ragnarok characters, but this one is a catastrophe. I understand that they are they are super short in people. Like, the manpower Grand Cross has is not the same as 2021, but are they this lazy? They just like, okay, we already have a Mark II Valenti that exists, let's just give her the passive for the beast and call it a day. Like, let's not make a new Ragnarok unit, because every single Ragnarok unit meant for beasts was a brand new character. It was like Miguel that was brand new, Jormungandr was brand new, Tonar was not brand new actually. Never mind my point, but whatever. And then Freya was brand new, right? She got the relic, but she was brand new. And weird. Strange, to say the least. It feels lazy. To me, it feels lazy. They're just reusing a character they already have because they don't want to put too much time into making the characters. It's way easier to just pick a character that already exists and give them that role. So I'll give it an L to 2024 for this one. Honestly, I don't like it. It reminds me that Mael actually got a relic that I forgot about. He just got the relic and I already forgot about him. It is what it is. The relic is good. It doesn't really make goddesses any better or anything. Like, Mael is just a troubled existence, isn't he? Like, we just talked about how he wasn't hype for the community when he came out. Still disagree, but whatever. He wasn't received the best in terms of festivals, and then they didn't give him much support. And then by the time he got support, which was Light Liz, November last year, he got easily faded out by Demon King Melly. And then now the relic makes him okay, kind of usable, not really. Sad existence. And then I also forgot about Hakan also relic, which by the way, never made a video on because it's so bad. So that is it. Now, we already know what's coming next for 2024, and by the time I'm uploading this video, it will already be out because I'm pre-recording this. I'm gonna be 2 weeks in Japan by the time you're watching, so I won't be home to record the videos. But in 2023, the time slot after the Stinky Roxy, I mean, it was an okay patch, was probably the... I even, like, what is even this? Okay, I'm looking at... I've been doing 1-for-1 and just realized the schedule is a little odd between 2023 and 24 because of that Shin plus collab banner. So in the time slot of Valenti actually is when we got this Goddess Liz, which was a terrible unit. No value whatsoever. Anyone that summoned for this, my condolences. Just bad unit. I mean, she was okay for like very specific, like super hyper like fast strategies, but like worse than Kizuna. It's like just yikes character. And then now looking at what is about to release actually, the character that came out after this this terrible Liz was the collab with, let me actually bring up collabs, with Jobless Reincarnation, Mushoku Tensei, which was not very well received. 2023 was odd, man. The characters were interesting, and I would say, like, for the time, Gillian was pretty good. I think she was the best unit of the collab, and, you know, she lived the longest. Roxy was the biggest cope unit in existence. I still don't get why people cope so hard for her. I think it's because they like her from the show, but there's a lot of cope for her. But she was okay. Like, the characters just weren't that impressive, you know? The character that was my biggest disappointment was the Jobless himself. And I really wanted him to be so good. I mean, he's good for like one thing, which is fast farming really easy what's it called, final bosses, and that's it. Like, his legacy is that. And then that was the one time they released a free unit that required the banner unit to work. So people were not happy about that. This was by far, I think, the worst received collab until then, until Attack on Titan, which was also in 2023. 2023 was just odd. Yeah, very, very poorly received collab. Again, I think Gillian is pretty good, and she lasted in the meta a decent while, but that was pretty much it for these characters. And now, I can't comment on the characters that, by the time you're watching this, they're already out. But we're getting Shield Hero to come back. IP for IP, Mushoku Tensei destroys Shield Hero in terms of hype. I don't want to hear it. Like, Mushoku Tensei is an actual popular IP at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, not even close. But let's see if the units are good. I guess I will know when this video is out. You will know, but I don't know right now. So hopefully they're good. But let me know what you think. Was 2023 as bad as people say? Keep in mind, I'm only comparing 2023 and 2024 so far. I think 2024 was slightly better so far. Yeah, I think a decent while better. But man, 2023 does not go up much from here. I think there are some peaks, like when Ban came out, he was garbage, but then he got buffed. I think he kind of redeemed him, right? This was the worst received anniversary ever because he was just garbage at launch, and then he got buffed. So that was not good. Like, that just does not help the reputation. Demon King was hype. I'll give him that. Like, Demon King was hype. So there were highs in 2023, and then the worst received festival of all time, we got Hell because it was no C. And then the November and December festivals don't count because they're always hype, but yeah, let me know what you guys think.